I comment also on what Ray said about barriers being removed? 2 years ago, I went through the trauma of getting my mother digitally enabled. I mean, this was, although she had an iPad, she's in her 90s, and I was convincing her, Mum, you need to do online banking. Now, she was petrified. She lives in one of the most crime-ridden countries on the planet, and said, I just can't imagine that this is going to be secure. Anyway, we managed to get her, it's taken a couple of years, mainly because her banks are so awful in South Africa at the digital, making it really easy. So she's finally got things, applications on her iPad where it's really easy. So now she's sitting at home in isolation, and she can pass money from account to account. She can pay people. She's paying her cleaners who can't come in, but she's keen that they keep, getting some income. I mean, she could never have done that. Now, there's going to be millions of her who are going to be forced into this, kicking and screaming, because it was rather painful in the beginning, which creates whole new markets for technology businesses, which I might say puts New Zealand in quite a good position to trade us out of our debt, which I'm pleased about. But just one more comment while I have the airtime. I'm really giggling because for years and years we have said to companies, it's not the physical that gives you value. You count your skin bags who come in, there's 60 of them, they troop in every morning. You think they're busy because they look busy. We know how to look busy, right? So what are you really relying on as the value in your business? It's the stuff you can't see in their heads. Now suddenly they can't see any of the value. It's all gone home. And it's really interesting because I had a client he's a control freak, and he was kind of saying, how am I going to make sure they're productive? He was kind of, so this whole question of, for hundreds of years, business owners have said, how can we make sure we're getting all the juice we're paying for? And now they actually have to have a relationship with people that requires where people feel a sense of obligation to do the right thing for the right reasons. And they have to think, I've got to be a sticky employer, because when this thing turns around, my staff are going to have the pick of any job on the planet. How do I compete for that talent?
Right. Yeah.
Well, so, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, Cherri, on the one hand, in terms of the shift of the whole work from home or remote work position. And, I do think that this is going to force the hand of some of what Ray was talking about. But I do think I wrote another article about this. And I think the other thing that this also exposed is how, in many regards, undigital our world still remains, how very, very physical it is. And it's not just, the obvious of things like restaurants shutting down and how much, even with someone like me who, I have no business here I'm in the epicenter of epicenters here in New York City per se, other than people coming into town occasionally. It is still extremely disruptive, despite the fact that we were already, everything you talked about, right? We already work from home. We're completely remote. We have most things delivered, all of that stuff. And yet still incredibly disruptive. And we're seeing this cascade. And so I think part of the big fallacy of digital transformation that's being laid bare in all of this is that it's not about the digital. It's not about the technology. It's about the connection points between both people and between digital and physical. And that's what we've seen taken away. And it's having dramatic impact, going back to, I think it was Cherri, I'm not sure who said it, about the fact that we're losing the social dynamic that people are craving. It's, here in New York, every night at 7 o'clock now, everyone opens their windows and cheers for the workers. I don't know if there's any workers here to hear it or not, but we're all cheering for the healthcare workers and I guess the delivery folks and whatever. And in large part, that's just this reaction of people want that human connection. And right now our digital systems, for all of their advancement, and they are truly a lifeline to everything today for folks, we are finding them a really poor replacement for human connection. So it shows that we have so much more room to go in terms of the transformation of the digital experience into one that is truly meaningful on a human level. We're not there yet. And so it's, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how this fully plays out.